How do you know the breakout of the districts?
I'm sorry?
The breakout of the districts in Arkansas? How do we...
I think he's asking what kind of specific races do we need to focus on
Well, I'm
with
talking
the
about
election
races.
coming?
Remember, we're not talking about races. We're talking about activity to your elected representative. We're assuming that the election goes forward and then getting in touch with yours.
Arkansas has a list of the districts.
Absolutely. You can go in.
I've got them. I'm ready to share them if I can get some help with telephoning.
Okay. All right. I'll give you my card after we'll speak about that. But you can go to the website, type in your zip code, and immediately know who your representatives are. Now, that being said, when you tell people, go to convention states and sign the petition, automatically an email is sent to your senator and your representative by simply clicking the button, sign the petition. That happens automatically. Not only that, but once you sign the petition, you're in the system. When I send an email, it goes to everybody. We can sort and send out information. Let's say your representative from District 42 is actually on a committee level. And that is coming up for a vote next week. Everybody that's in that district will get an email from me telling them, contact your representative, contact your senator. It's in committee. We need your help now. So it's very well organized. It's not like a haphazard, well, I hope you can figure it out. That's not how it works.
Well, I thought this convention of states was broken, Arkansas was broken down into, you say, so many districts?
It's organized by districts, but we have all that in a huge computer system. So we can target specific districts out of the 100 districts. We can send an email just to that district, everybody that signed up. I'm sorry?
I thought they were different from the districts.
No, these are the
legislative districts. All 100 of them, when you sign up in this activity, you're put into the district that you belong by your fiscal address. And that's why you have to put your address in when you sign the petition. And that's how we communicate with you in an effective way, because as you said, if I'm not on that committee, I don't really care what you have to say in District 42. You're not my constituency. So
Does that mean the people that we call and talk to could go in there and insert their information in a certain place and it's as good as calling their senator and their representative?
the first time that you sign the petition, yes. The first time that they sign, it goes automatically. It says so right on the side. You're sending your senator and your representative this letter, which basically says, I support the Convention of States movement to limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, and to impose term limits on elected and appointed officials. That's what you're telling them. I am supporting. You're representing me, so that goes out to them. But after that, you need to send emails and things like that. We have template letters to send out to them. But it's much better when you write a letter, just in personal statement, or pick up the phone and call your representative. It's much more powerful than some form-driven system that some computer can generate. It's quite different when you write one. You know, I live in your district. Please do this. When you talk to a representative, they'll tell you that's the things that come out in form of it. They might as well just pitch in the trash.
She's got a question.
Is it at all important that we get our federal legislators on board with this? It seems like we're going to get a lot of pushback from the federal legislators because they're in the federal government. But I want to share with you, I was at I live in Jesseville, and I went to a Hot Springs town hall meeting last week with Tom Cotton and Bruce Westerman, both of whom I think immensely, both of them. And I asked specifically that question because they're addressing all these problems with the federal government. And I said, well, do you think the Convention of States is an answer to this? And Tom Cotton said, and he went into it, he said, yeah, well, that's one of the things that the founding fathers have done for us that we can turn to.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, I'm skeptical of it because it can be taken over. Now, we talked about that a little bit. So, is that important that they're on board with this, or should we try to get with Tom Cotton?
You know, I hate to, Tom Cotton's a good friend of mine. If that's a typical political answer, I'm skeptical. In other words, I don't want to have to commit right now. Right? He didn't commit.
Oh, he did not commit, but
right. So the
but
reason he didn't
I
commit, he
took
gave you the...
I took it more as an opposition to the whole...
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is that's a typical political answer because they don't want to get pinned down. Your question is it important to have them on board? No, because they're not going to want this to happen. Matter of fact, most Democrats and 50% of Republicans will fight this. Because what you're really saying is you guys haven't done your work,
That's exactly.
We're gonna.
and we're gonna do it for you. And so will some of them fight it? Yeah. I get razzed all the time.
Well, I bet you do.
But I can tell you, I guarantee I can convince Tom Cotton that the only risk is not doing something.
Well, do that.
Yeah, well, I will. I actually walked him and his wife through their first pregnancy because I was kind of caring for her up in D.C. And it's hard to be pregnant when you work for the CIA. So I'll make that call to him.
Tell him that one of his constituents.
Yeah, his baby boy stole my glasses. He had to mail them back to me when they came over. So there's already some question about some Anyhow, that's a great question. The point goes back is if they can fix it, why haven't